So I know that it's been quite a while since I made the last video, but that's because I've been very, very, very busy. Very happily busy. Not just talking to my boyfriend, but being on 3 very romantic and wonderful dates with him. And just, again, spending so much time with him, talking to him. He's been more than a worthy distraction. Other than that, although, as you can probably tell in my voice, just in terms of the harshness of it, I have been unwell over the past about week and a half, 2 weeks. I'm feeling better now, other than a slight cough and again the voice in the throat. Although, with that being said, I do actually think it was quite a stroke of luck that my phone did run out of charge during the last video, because given the theme of this video in terms of confidence, me growing, me becoming a more confident, stronger, independent person, not only being able to but eagerly wanting to express myself more, in terms of just being with my boyfriend, talking to him, and again those absolutely wonderful dates, I do feel like in the past 2 weeks that I've known him, it's definitely been 2 of the most eventful weeks in my life. I've known him for a bit longer, just about a month, but just in terms of actually going out with him on the dates, holding his hand, snuggling with him, talking to him, just being with him. Again, I'm really happy that my phone did run out of charge, because it just gives me so much more to talk about in this video. I do want to quickly carry off from where I left in the last one, which was again just the kind of anxiety that I inherited from my mum in terms of how kind of overbearing she could be, how overwatching she could be in regards to my phone. And I really feel like there was 3 big events that helped me get over that. One of which, the last one, and definitely I would say probably the strongest, although the last 2 before that were definitely a massive help in it. Meeting my boyfriend, and again, we're out on those dates. With that being said, in terms of getting over that, I really feel like the first big spur away from that was simply getting my job, which I've talked about quite a few times in previous videos, and I actually got slightly after making this channel. Just in terms of how desperate I was to get one, how hard I was trying to get one, and then to go from a situation where 95% of my real interactions were in the house, just talking to a family, when I was in that space, to working, if not 2.5 months, for a solid 3 months, 6 to 8 hours a day, 6 to 8 hours a week, 7 days a week, with virtually 0 days off, where my social life basically did a 180 from almost solely interacting with people in the house to almost solely being at work, talking to people in work, just kind of being in that completely different environment, talking to, I wouldn't say new people every day, but having a kind of strong social network, as well as new people kind of filtering into the factory every wee while. And having new people to talk to through that means. New social interactions who don't have any prejudices towards me, don't have any expectations, just, again, new people, new interactions. A completely different environment that was removed from my home life, where again, I felt like I could be myself a lot more, I could express myself a lot more. And even though, of course, there was a certain power dynamic in terms of me working there, the power dynamic felt nowhere near as oppressive or not overbearing as the one that I had with my mum at the time. And then, kind of contradictory to that, going on just over a year later, again, given how desperate I was, how hard I was trying, how long it took me well over a year to get a job. To go from that to a position where about a year and 2 months into the job, I just quit it completely, with no plans of finding one, at least for the foreseeable future. With, again, I just get tired of it and I just quit it. To do that with such confidence, to do it so suddenly, and now to be here, I think over 3 months later, and still be in such a strong, confident position, to still be in such a incredibly financially secure and financially strong position. And well, I'm hoping to get a job, if not late January, early February. Well, not necessarily get one, but start looking for one. I'm not particularly anxious about it. I'm not worrying about when I'll get one, if I'll get one, how I'll get one, what it'll be. Again, just in terms of the strong position I'm in, I will have to get one eventually, of course, but I have more than a lot of leeway. Again, just to go from that position in a matter of just over a year. And of course, after that, having quit the job, being able to travel, being able to go new places, where not only am I interacting with new people, rather I'm going completely new places by myself, miles away from home, tens of miles, hundreds of miles. Again, entirely on my own, with practically no plans of where I'm going, of what I'm going to see, of who I'm going to meet. Just simply doing that because I felt like it, having the confidence to do that, and again, kind of further remove myself from the source of my anxiety. And then, of course, being able to go to the furry meet, being able to meet up with not only a lot of my friends online, but being a kind of, aside from Pride, being in my first queer space for the first time, just being surrounded by so many other queer people, all of which of course knew I was gay, all of which again were gay, were completely comfortable with that, being able to be affectionate towards people, and just in terms of IRL, actually interacting with people, watching something with people, sitting on a couch with people, being able to express who I am for the first time with completely no filters. And of course, being in the cave, meeting the person that I met, again, just simply experiencing those new things. I do feel a bit guilty about this video, just in terms of how rough my voice is, but as sexy as my voice usually is, I'm sure you'll still really appreciate this, honey, Wolfie. But with that being said, and I mean, that by itself was what, less than 2 months ago, the meet. And it really does feel like it could have been not a year ago, but double or triple that time. To me now having a boyfriend, and again being able to go out with him, and just days prior to our first date, one of the big things that I was thinking, whenever I've took a step like this, I've always worried a little, of course, naturally, when I'm a bit nervous. I've always well overperformed how I expected, just in terms of how confident I am, how expressive I am, how much I enjoy myself, how charismatic I am, and how I'm able to put myself forward. So while I did go forward with a little nervousness, of course, I had that constantly in my mind that being at work, being at the meet, travelling, all the other experiences I had that were vaguely like this, IRL, although I was nervous about all of those, I well outshined my highest expectations. And again, it's really hard to express how wonderful they were, and if I was to talk about them in full, I'm sure I would have to make a whole series of videos on them. In terms of initially being with him, prior to meeting up with him, just waiting for him for about 10-20 minutes, idly, somewhat anxiously walking about the kind of botanic garden that I was in, I did feel some nervousness. I did want to be somewhere private, just to be affectionate for the first time, but immediately as I saw him, all of that anxiety slipped away, all of the nervousness. It's really hard to explain. Literally, any of the hesitation that I had was completely gone, just seeing his face. And even though it was outside and no doubt people could see, again, there was just no hesitation. There wasn't even the thought of hesitation. I simply went up and embraced him. And I embraced him hard. Not only hugging him, but going for a kiss as well. And again, just how relieving that felt. And further confirmed the fact that, as I had previously, I far outshined my expectations, although I think this time, not doubly more so, but uncountably more so. For the first date though, I was still somewhat anxious, particularly in busier places where more people were around, and I'm very grateful for this. I'm sure it wouldn't have took me too much longer, but whenever I did see some kind of trepidation in me, some kind of anxiety or nervousness, I did notice how he always pulled me closer. He always squeezed my hand a little tighter, and he kind of pushed me and tried to embarrass me just a little bit, simply to get that out of me. And soon after, by the end of the day, given everything we had done in terms of snuggling, kissing, whether it be in the park, in the Botanic Gardens, or it be on a quieter street, or a busier street, or on a packed subway, whatever hesitation, nervousness that I did feel, I found was almost completely gone. And by the time of the second date, it wasn't half as bad as it was in the first. And as that went on after the initial meeting, again, I feel like I'm rambling a bit. And again, I wish my voice was a bit better. But simply as that went on, it completely cracked. And meeting him for the third date and looking forward to meeting him for the fourth date, as it was when I first met him, when just for that moment, embracing him, hugging him, kissing him, when that anxiety, that hesitation just completely vanished. It was like that for the entirety of the third date. There wasn't, I don't think, a second of it. It wasn't even confidence necessarily, it was just calmness, comfiness, just feeling, just being, really. And again, that's what it was like for the entirety of the third date, both days of it, as well as the latter half of the second date. And since then, not only have I came out to my mum and all of my IRL friends, but just increasingly being able to talk about it more frequently, going into more depth, being able to talk about how much I love them, how affectionate I am towards them, being able to show my mum and my friends pictures of them. Again, I really don't know what to say. I'm just so happy right now, and I wish my voice was better so I could just show the happiness through it. But as I have felt with every one of these major events, just in terms of building confidence, in terms of, again, simply being who I am. Over the past less than a month since I met him, I really do feel like a new person, a more confident person, a more invigorated person, a passionate person, a stronger person, a more loving person, more caring, empathetic, just as he is. I really do feel like he's pulled me in his direction, just in terms of all of his more positive traits. I really don't know how to end this video off, so all I can say, honey, is that I love you so much. Again, even just in the past month that we've known each other, less than that, just the impact it's had on me, how wonderfully long it's felt, how much I've grown since then, not just in terms of being more confident, but being more passionate, wanting to pursue my hobbies harder, feeling more creative, just everything, honey. All of the positive traits that I've attributed to you, your kindness, your gentleness, your passion, your creative flair, your intelligence, and yes, how wholesome you are. All of it, and about 20 more I could name. Well, they were all within me. Simply being with you, especially in person, but even just being with you in terms of having you as my love, having you as my boyfriend, they've only intensified all of those traits in me. And I can see how I've done the same for you. And it's so beautiful. I really can't wait until we see each other next week. As for 3 other dates I've been, I have absolutely no doubt that it's going to be just unimaginably beautiful being with you. All the new stuff we're going to do, being able to be together for longer, being able to go more places, explore more, simply hold each other's hands for longer, snuggle for longer, kiss for longer, talk for longer. Again, simply be together for longer. And of course, with me getting better and your foot getting better, going forward we're going to have even more chances. As I've said, even if you do have a shift down here or somewhere that's relatively close, even if it's only an hour we can spend together, hell, half an hour we can spend together, even if it's just walking to you from your work to the train station, I'm more than happy to do that. I'm more than happy just to come up and see you. Just to be able to hold your hand, watch you smile, and look at your face for those few moments. I love you so much, sweetie.